Hi, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. Hi, everybody. My name is Cortland Jacoby. I'm here for Punch Drunk Critics, and I am speaking with Kris Rey, the director of I Used to Go Here, which is a movie starring Gillian Jacobs and Jemaine Clement, two of my favorite actors, so I'm very jealous that you got to work with them.
Very cool.
Um, so your past work has always had this very humanistic quality to it. And I was wondering what specifically inspired this story and what compelled you to write and direct it.
Thanks for saying that it was humanistic. Seems like that should be a part of every movie, really,
Yeah,
considering
yeah,
there's only humans in it. But it is a very nice compliment. I do always try to infuse that into my films. This movie is funny because it was like inspired by another experience I had releasing another movie, but my last film, Unexpected, which came out in 2015, took me sort of unexpectedly on the university circuit.
Mm-hmm.
So I was taking the movie to different universities and showing it to students, and talking about it with them, and felt so cool for really like the first time in my life. And had made a movie that had gone to Sundance and was being released in theaters, um and to me that was going through it, I was really struck by how little it changed my actual life. But it to I had like completely made it. Like, what else could you possibly hope for? I had achieved everything.
Right.
And it was really nice, to see myself through that lens. And I imagined, I was this movie was inspired by that time for me. And I imagined that if you were feeling particularly low in your life, that the feeling of seeing yourself through the lens of these students would be sort of intoxicating, and that you might really just want to stay there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what inspired the film.
Um, and Gillian Jacobs kind of plays this iteration, I guess, of you. Sort
Yeah.
of. That might be a stretch to say. How did she get involved, and then how did Jemaine get involved as well in the project?
Gillian, so I met with a lot of different people to play this part, which is sort of what you do, at that phase, or at least what I've done. And Gillian was one of the people that I met with during the process, and we just really hit it off. And what I'm always looking for when I'm casting is a person that seems like a real human being when you're around them. And so many people, you would be surprised to learn, really don't. And Gillian really does. Gillian is very authentic. And I was already a fan of her work, and I knew that she brought that to her performances. But it was so lovely to meet with her about the script, and I felt a real connection between us, in our meeting, and really liked her, and sort of came away feeling like we could be friends. And now we have become friends, and she really got it. And I knew she could play the part, and she wanted to play the part. And then when, and I mean, she's just lovely. And I just could imagine her kind of like going through these experiences. She really is sort of buttoned up in real life. She doesn't drink. She's not a partier.
Yeah.
She likes to go home and go to sleep. She's like, it was really different from me. I am a partier. I love to go out and stay up late and be around people. And so it was exciting for me actually to see, to see that person. I think it was nice to be able to see that person change when she goes to school, goes back to school, because I could see that would have been an actual departure for Gillian Jacobs, the person.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, she does have a lot of experience with acting around a college. I mean,
Yes, that is a big trait. Yes.
And then how did you get Jemaine Clement? Because he's having a little bit of a moment.
Isn't he always?
I mean, yeah.
That's like, he's been having a moment since any of us knew his name. He's like so talented. He's so cool. He's so funny. He's just like beloved by everyone. I've never met a person who has ever said like, yeah, I don't really like him. You know, anyone that you bring his name up to is like, oh, I love that guy. He's just incredible, and he's such a good actor, and he's so subtle, and he really takes more than anyone else. He takes a line of dialogue on the page, and he really like mixes it up and sort of shuffles it around and makes it sound like a real person saying that line for the very first time. And it was really exciting to work with him. How I got him, I don't know. I don't know why he agreed to do it, besides the fact that he just liked the part. I mean, he certainly didn't need it for his career. I think he really makes, as far as I know, he makes choices just based on what he wants to do and what I think is just fun for him. And he read the script, he liked the part, he wanted to do it. We met, I thought it went terribly and was very awkward, but he seemed to think it was okay.
Great.
And he really grateful and so feels so lucky that he did.
So you have a superb younger cast playing college students as well. And the film really focuses on, well, I Used to Go Here and then also with Unexpected, both focus on the connection between like a younger, inspiring adults and the more like established, I guess you could say, adults. What draws you to that connection as a director?
I just feel like I experience it so much in real life. You know, I experienced it with Unexpected. I had experienced that when I was a high school teacher, which I have been. I taught film in a Chicago public high school for 2 years, which was a crazy and very fulfilling experience. And then I have experienced it in my personal life with people that are younger than me. I still do. I have friends that are in their late 20s, mid to late 20s, that I find incredibly inspiring and wise, and maybe don't have the life experience that I have had, but see things in a different way because of our difference in generations, that I think is really exciting and smart and wise. And I have so much respect for this generation coming up after me. And I think that they are, people make fun of that generation all the time, I think, in the media. And I think for people that are older, it can be a little intimidating, and people feel like sort of like everybody feels arrogant about their generation and what they've achieved and whatever, but I don't. I feel like they really have it. And I think, the way that they're in particular thinking about gender and about consent and all this stuff is like so right on. And I'm just really in awe of it and excited about where things are going.
Also, by the way, side note, Hannah's movie is great, by the way.
Oh my God.
Hannah is awesome.
Hannah is a perfect embodiment of that. She's so talented, and she's so like determined and ambitious in a way that doesn't feel careerist, but just feels like she just wants to do it. And so she finds a way to do it, and it's so inspiring and cool. And I'm like totally in admiration of her.
So you got together this like ragtag group of like really awesome and cool people. I mean, obviously that has to help with tone on set, but how do you kind of, how do you create a space where work can be done that's fulfilling? And was there ad-libbing on set as well within the script?
Okay, so the ad-libbing, not so much. Jemaine does quite a bit of it, though he generally sticks to the script or, in the area of the script.
Right.
But there one moment, and I wonder if I should say this in an interview with, I don't want it to give too much away, but I'll just say it, which is that there's one moment where tall Brandon goes in for a kiss.
Yes.
And that was totally ad-libbed. That was not scripted. And Brandon and the other actress, Jen, they sort of came up with it. They kept threatening to do it when we were filming that scene. And I was like, wow, these people are really into each other. And like, legitimately, Brandon kept saying like, I feel like I'm gonna kiss her. And she kept saying like, oh my God, you're so cute. And I was like, you guys wanna try it? They were like, yeah.
You can feel that tension when you watch it. Like, are they going to do it? Are they not going to do it? What's happening?
Yes. And we only filmed one take of it. And I'm glad we made it in with the audio, because I was beside myself. Like I could not, on the director's monitor, I was like, oh my God, I could like hardly watch because I was dying. He's so tall, and watching him slowly bend down just killed me. And I think I'm so lucky that happened on set the way it did, because it's such a great moment in the film. And I don't know if I had scripted it, I don't know if it would have worked out the way that it did, because it did feel so natural at the time. Mm-hmm. And I think both of those actors would have probably felt pretty nervous about doing it if it had been scripted. So I do feel very lucky the way that happened.
That's awesome. The film really focuses on like expectations and how we cope with expectations when they don't necessarily go the way we want them to. Through making this film, how have your thoughts about like being disappointed and handling disappointment changed? Any lessons you've uncovered? I mean, this release did not work 100%. Out the way you thought it was going to.
Isn't it crazy? It's like I had no idea. In the movie, her entire book tour gets canceled, and fast forward a year later, my entire film tour has been canceled. And normally the movie, of course, would have premiered at South by Southwest. It would have played many film festivals. I was very excited to have been invited to a film festival in Argentina that I was gearing up to go to in April. That got canceled, and I was very upset about all that stuff not happening. And it did kind of leave me for a minute trying to like come to terms with like what it meant for me and what it meant about me, and how I was going to move forward without it. And that, of course, is my own little story of personal tragedy. But with the pandemic, it being such a collective tragedy, every single person I know has had something major canceled. Maybe it wasn't a book tour or movie release, but it was a wedding or a vacation, or God help us, a funeral. And I think, of course, we've had so much huge loss in our world, with people dying and getting sick. And that's very real, and everyone is grappling with that loss. But then in addition to that, everyone is grappling with these sort of smaller, maybe seemingly less important losses along the way of plans that were dashed, and also our entire world changing forever. And the movie is about that in a sense. And learning to sort of like pick yourself up and learn and know that you have to change, and being willing and ready to make that change, and moving forward with that knowledge. And that's a really, really hard thing to do. And that's the journey that Kate goes on in the movie, and a journey I think we're all on right now.
I think that's a great place to stop. A really good kumbaya moment. Thank you so much, Kris. It's been really, really wonderful to talk.
Thank you. It has been a pleasure.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Yeah, you too.